Okay, I am coming to you live for the Wild Mom podcast. I am coming live in my Facebook community, which is continuously growing, and I'm so excited about that. I'm so thrilled. And also on Instagram. So, if you have come into my world, congratulations. You are raising a new birth child. And you have such an important role here in the new earth paradigm and us shifting the conscious collective and us being the best mentors we can be for our kids. And today's episode is talking all about breaking those generational cycles of parenting, of beliefs, of trauma. It's just us being the cycle breakers. And the reason why this is so important, and honestly, it's probably the most important step in New Earth parenting, is because you are the starting point for your kid's journey. You are the conduit. You are that pathway from spirit to physical form. And the moment that you have conceived your child is the moment that they begin to pick up on your belief systems through the placenta, through the umbilical cord. And so, yeah, it's pretty dang important for you to know what's going on within your psyche, what's going on within your subconscious mind, what is serving you, what is not serving you, and how you actually want to parent. Because here's the thing, if you're raising a new earth child, your role is so much more important than just parenting. And yes, that may seem overwhelming, but just bear with me here. The reason why it is so much more important is because you are raising the children who are going to be leading us into the next awakening. You are mentoring the children who are shifting the conscious collective energy. And this is huge. We're at this pivotal moment in time where we can either choose that path of fear, and fear is all around us, and it is consuming so much of what we are consuming in our daily life. Or we can choose that path of love. And your children coming into this world, being that beautiful, connected being, they have the ability to shift everything to love, to continue to love themselves, to have the confidence that we've wanted as parents, as women, as moms, that maybe we just haven't been able to get. And this is where knowing what beliefs you're holding within you is so important. So let's get right into it. Whether you're tuning in live, whether in the community or on Instagram, or if you're listening to the replay, I welcome you to this space. I welcome you to maybe the triggering that's going to happen, the uncomfortable moments that may come up. And I really want you to just feel the power that you have within you to change your belief systems. So I was working with a client probably about a month ago, and she was in one of my containers, and she was mentioning about how she was trying to navigate her father's aggression towards her son. And it kept triggering her because it was the aggression that he was showing towards her when she was growing up. And so I had her ask herself these three questions, and now I want you to or ask yourself these three questions as well. So the first question is, what do I want to change about my parenting? So in the example of this client, she wanted to change how she was protecting her son, how she was showing up, how she was setting healthy boundaries, and also how that environment was for her son. She didn't want him to be growing up in an environment where there was that aggression, where her son got in trouble easily. She wanted him to grow up in a space where he felt safe and supported and secure in his being and unconditionally loved, which is something that we all want, right? So, what do you want to change about your parenting? It sounds like a super easy question to ask yourself. What do you want to change about your parenting? It could be that you want to be more gentle. It could be that you want to be a little bit more patient. It could be that you want to have your child grow up with the wealth mindset that maybe you didn't. Maybe you want to have more free time with your child and you want to have more fun with your child. Whatever it is, just take note of what that thing is that you want to change about your parenting. Okay. And this is why this is important here. We're slowly peeling back the layers of what is held within your belief system that is stopping you from being that best parent for your child. That is creating the patterns of generational beliefs. Because this is what I do with my clients. This is what I am good at. I know what belief systems you're holding on to. I know what is within that psyche. And I also know how to release it and to do it in a very effortless way. How do I convince my daughter to behave modestly? Okay, that's a great question. So then in that case, what you want to change about your parenting is then ask yourself that. What do you want to change about your parenting? Because this is what you're wanting to change about your daughter. What do you want to change about your parenting then? And if we're thinking about it in terms of belief systems, what's coming up for you, let me know if this resonates. It could be that you want to change how easily you're triggered when your child isn't behaving as you want them to. Okay. And if we went down the rabbit hole, you may find that, okay, if I'm easily triggered by my child's behavior, then maybe I have some issues with control. And maybe those issues with control is because I didn't have any control when I was a child. And we can go deep down the layers of your beliefs. And this is what I do for most of the moms in my containers. We peel back the layers. But for today, just asking yourself that question, what do you want to change about your parenting? That's step one. The second question I want you to ask yourself, what parenting styles have I learned from my parents? Okay. This is how we bring light to those cycles that we just somehow get ourselves into that we're not even aware of, and then we pass it on to our kids. These are those moments when you act out or react to your child and then think, oh my God, my mom did the exact same thing to me. Or, oh my gosh, I learned this from my dad. It makes so much sense now. So begin to ask yourself that question. What parenting styles have you learned from your parents? Okay. And I want you to be making notes of this. Like, if you don't have your pen and notepad out, go grab one. If you need to, put it in your phone. But this is really going to bring light to what's within your subconscious mind, what belief systems you're still holding on to that is affecting how you're parenting, that is affecting how you're raising your child. Because here's a real kicker. Between the ages of 0 and 7 is when your children are picking up their own belief systems. So this is the most important age for you to be parenting from a place of higher consciousness, for you to be aware of what's in your subconscious mind, and to also put a stop and end to those beliefs that are no longer serving you. And these beliefs could be anything to do with parenting, but it could also just be how you show up for yourself. So I'll give you an example. Everyone loves to touch my daughter. I don't know what it is. With New Earth children, everyone's drawn to their energy. So whenever we go on walks, people want to just come in and just touch her, and they'll give her a little like fist pump, or they will try and touch her foot or just do something. And there's these neighbors that we have that always loves to touch her. And I know my daughter sets her boundaries. And I had a really hard time of setting them for her and saying, hey, listen, wait for her to welcome you into her space, and then you can touch her by all means because she's welcoming you in. But until she does that, just X and A on the touchy. And I had a really hard time. And then in a meditation, my daughter said to me, like, hey, mom, I deserve more. And that sucked to hear. I sent a whole newsletter out about this too and diving deeper into it. But it sucked to hear that my daughter deserved more and that she wasn't proud of the mom that I was for her. And it wasn't that I was doing anything wrong, but it's because I had fears of speaking my own truth based on my childhood beliefs that I couldn't set those healthy boundaries. I barely knew how to set healthy boundaries for myself. How was I going to do it for my daughter? But you bet your ass that I went in and I did the reprogramming and I released the trauma from my childhood and I released the energetic attachments from my parents around this belief. And now I freely say, don't touch my daughter. Wait for her to welcome you into her space, and then by all means, it's fine. And this is how easily we can be doing a disservice to our children by passing on these beliefs. Because if she's seeing her mom unable to set healthy boundaries, she is learning that that is the norm. It is normal to not stand up for yourself. It is normal and the safe way to just let people take advantage, to people please. And it's something that I am doing my best to make sure that my daughter does not become a people pleaser, is not a good girl. And let me tell you, she's already telling me loud and proud that she's not going to be that good girl because she listens to like zero rules in the best way. And so when you can begin to ask, what have I learned from my parents? And you can even go beyond this question of parenting style, just what have I learned from my parents? You will begin to see how you're showing up for your children. The third question I want you to ask yourself, and this one, it may bring up those triggers, so I warn you now, but it is so important when you are being a new earth mom, when you are wanting to break generational cycles. This is something that I do in my containers, and it usually brings tears to people. We do it in an altered brainwave state, so people are more receptive, but it may still bring tears to you. What's the outcome if I don't change these beliefs? What is the outcome for my children, for myself, if I do not change these beliefs? If I choose to continue to live with the belief that money doesn't grow on trees, to choose to live with the belief that I need to be a people pleaser in order to be loved, or I need to remain quiet in order to be safe. I had huge beliefs around men and safety from my childhood, from what I picked up from trauma. And so I want to make sure that I'm healing that for my daughter because I don't want her to be afraid of men. I don't want her to be afraid of expressing her beauty. I don't want her to be afraid of walking down the street that people are looking at her. I want her to be proud of her beauty because she is freaking gorgeous. She's gorgeous and she has the red curly hair and the beautiful blue eyes, and I know she's going to turn some heads when she's older. And I want her to embrace that. I want her to feel so secure in her being and so confident. And so I know if I don't heal myself as a mom, if I don't change these beliefs for my daughter, the outcome is that she is going to suffer. And it sucks to say, it does. And I wish it wasn't the case, but your child chose you for a reason. Just remember that. When you're going through this list and you're thinking, holy shit, if I don't change this, my daughter is going to grow up maybe experiencing abuse, maybe being or experiencing alcoholism, or maybe letting people push her around and be in a toxic relationship. Like it can go pretty dark. But this also gives you the power to say, hey, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this for myself and for my child. And that is so empowering. The women who have, and the moms who have gone through the theta healing training and knowing how to do this, who have gone through my containers, are now leaving saying, hey, I no longer have the people pleasing belief. Or now that I've controlled my own aggression because I didn't know how to release anger as a child because I wasn't taught that, now my son isn't as aggressive towards me because your children are mirrors to you. They're going to show you exactly what you need to heal. And if you listen to them, it becomes very easy to see what you picked up in your childhood and what is no longer serving you. Because if you're struggling, if you're suffering, if it's challenging with anything to do with your children, that is a belief being shown to you. That is a belief being shown to you of something that isn't in alignment with your highest and greatest truth. And it's your responsibility to heal that because your child chose you because they knew you were strong enough to do this. They knew you had the kahunas to be able to go deep within your subconscious and to reprogram these beliefs, to release trauma and set them free. Because when our children are free from our own belief systems, when they're free from the generational trauma, now they have the space and the capacity and the energy to be their most authentic self. And isn't that what we all want as moms? We want our kids to be happy. We want our kids to be healthy. We want our kids to be wealthy and to feel self-love. And that is possible, but it requires us as moms to do that inner work first. So my daughter considers me stick in the mud, and I only want to protect, especially nowadays that proximity isn't as repugnant as the past. I'm just going to do a bit of channeling for you if you're okay with that. Okay, so the message that I got is for you to dive into belief systems around your experience with protection. So I'm sorry to call you out. I'm sorry if this triggers you, but I'm so proud of you for putting this out there. What did you experience in your childhood where you did not feel protected? And now you feel you have to protect others. And I know it's twisted because we think, I'm a mom, of course I'm going to protect my child. But there's this fine line between protection and now needing to do something because we fear what's going to happen if we don't. It's a very fine line. And that fear, that need, that is that subconscious belief that is being held, that has come from your childhood. And that's what needs to be released, because then you can be this free mentor for her. And then she will feel, hey, my mom also gives me this sense of freedom, like that I know how to take care of myself, that I know that I have the confidence to say no. It also gives your daughter power, and it gives you power. She right now is expressing to you that limit, that limiting belief that has come up, that she is fighting with you and calling you a stick in the mud and not listening, because she's saying, again, because she's that mirror is saying, hey, this isn't the way that we need to live. This isn't the way that we have to parent. This may have worked for our parents. This may have been something that happened in our childhood that allowed us to feel safer because we weren't protected. So now I have to protect everyone else. But we can also let that go. And when you let that go, again, it's not going to just be one day you're going to wake up and just say, you know what, today I'm just not going to give a shit. I'm just going to let her do whatever she wants. No, it means going within to the subconscious mind. It means reprogramming those beliefs. It means releasing the trauma. It means rewriting that story. It means downloading yourself with what it feels like to be free from that protection, to be free to let your daughter express herself the way she wants to, and to know that you are protecting her in the highest and best way, and that the universe is protecting her in the highest and best way. By doing all that energetic work, then when you are faced with that challenge of your daughter triggering you, because she's still going to do it, now you're going to react a different way. Now it's going to be more of like, all right, let's see what happens. And it feels good. My body isn't in fight or flight anymore. And that's what I want for you. I want you to feel free from that fight or flight. I want you to feel free from that inner child within you being triggered by your child of what you didn't receive as a child. Let me repeat that. I want you to be free from the triggering and the fear that your child is triggering within you from something that you didn't receive as a child. Because that's what they're doing. Your children are showing you what you have not healed from your childhood, what you did not receive from your childhood. And so it's a beautiful thing. It's sometimes hard, but it's a beautiful thing. And this is why you becoming the cycle breaker is so freaking powerful. This is why it's my mission to make every mom a theta healer. And I say this almost in every podcast episode because eventually it's going to be instilled within you that knowing how to release these beliefs in yourself, in your children, knowing that you have the power to reprogram your beliefs, to release that trauma, to set yourself free is so freaking powerful. And this is what these new earth children need. They don't need moms who are going to follow the norm. They don't need moms who are going to do traditional parenting. They don't need moms who are going to shove things under the rug and not do their own inner work because they're afraid. No, they need moms who are going to step up, who are going to do the inner work, who's going to release their trauma so they can now be a mentor for them, not just a mother. Do you hear that? You hear the power in that? You can be a mentor for your child. You can see them as their own individual and be able to guide them in their own experience of life rather than trying to mold them into what you felt you needed to be molded into for you to be safe as a child. Let that sit for a moment. All you're trying to do is mold your children into the version of you as a child that needed to be that way to be safe. Is that the only way to live? No. Is that the way that I want you to live? No. Which is why I've created a free 3-day event called Cycle Breakers. because this is the most important step when you're raising your new earth child. If you want to do energy healing, great. There's programs for that on my website. I have tons of different containers for that. But how are you going to do energy healing when you have issues with trust? How are you going to tune into your child's energy when you don't even know how to tune into your own? Because you're scared, because you feel unsafe in your body, because you feel disconnected from your body. Because as a child, you were taught, don't listen to your own body, listen to mom and dad because they know what's best. I love my parents, but they didn't know what I needed. So how are you going to do any of the other work that your new earth child needs? All the energetic work, all the healing, all the connecting, if you are disconnected from yourself, if you're still living from that inner child who's scared. And this is why this 3-day event, I'm going to be taking you through the exact steps that I took to break my cycles of people pleasing, of lack of trust, of, oh my gosh, of feeling unsafe in my body, of needing control, all these really big issues that most moms have, especially if you have a new birth child. You are going to be tested with the belief of control because they are so independent. They came here on a mission and they're like, nothing's stopping me. Nothing's getting in my way. And as a child raised in the old earth, you're going to be triggered by that because it's not going to follow the norm. And so this container is going to be sharing you the step-by-step guide. I'm going to be giving you theta healing downloads and activations to help you release this. You are going to be releasing some of the 3 core beliefs that are keeping you in your inner child wounds. I'm so excited about this event. So excited. So important, so powerful. And yeah, I have so much to say about it, but like I'm going to end up sharing the whole event on here. So we're slowly going to wrap things up, but there's a couple of comments that I wanted to read as well. It has nothing to do with my childhood. I am worried because she is so gullible and naive, and villainous men can deceive her easily. So you may think that it's not from your childhood, but I guarantee that it is. I guarantee it's from your childhood. It may not be that you didn't have control, but maybe you were told as a child from your parents that men are bad, that it's unsafe in the world. There are so many ways that this can go. And if you had a one-on-one session with me, we would find the exact belief that you're holding on to that's creating this. Because everything in your reality, good or bad, quotations, good or bad, has come from your beliefs and your energy / emotions around it. There's no way around it. You have manifested everything in your reality. So even your daughter and how she shows up is a reflection of some part of you that is scared. Because if we start going down the rabbit hole, this is what I do with my one-on-one clients, start asking yourself, well, what's the worst thing that would happen if she was deceived by these men? And then what would happen? And then what would happen? And then what would happen? If you just kept going down that rabbit hole of your psyche and in your subconscious mind, you will find that it comes down to an experience in your childhood where you felt something and then you just started creating all these beliefs around it that then ended up manifesting your physical reality. This is what I do. And I say this so proudly and so confidently. I'm so good at finding out what your belief systems are. You can tell me anything, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what belief is holding you back from manifesting, from parenting the way you want, from having a deeper connection with your child, because it all comes down to your own belief systems. So just sit with that, see what comes up, ask yourself those questions. Coming back to it, those 3 questions to ask yourself in order to figure out what generational cycles that you need to end for your child. What do I want to change about my parenting? What parenting styles have I learned from my parents? And what's the outcome if I don't change these? And if you want more guidance on this, this is where that free 3-day event, Cycle Breakers, is going to help you. It's going to give you that container. We're going to be diving deeper into these questions and more. It's going to reveal to you what beliefs you need to change in order to be, one, the best version of yourself for you, because fuck yeah, why not? But also the best version of yourself for your child. I'm so excited about this. It's going to be in my stories a little bit later. If you're not on my email list, get on that. I'm going to be talking so much more about all these beliefs there and in this 3-day event. I am so excited about this because this is going to be that first step for you being a new earth parent. Feel that. Feel that. This is going to set you free from all that inner child wound, all those traumas, all those beliefs that are telling you I need control and I need to protect my child and I can't set healthy boundaries and all these this bullshit that we've learned from our parents because they learned it from their parents. You are the cycle breaker for a reason. So embrace it. I hope to see you at this event. I'm sending you so much love and I will connect with you again very soon. Bye for now.